Hi GenderqueerChat, it's Callie, it's Saturday, and this week the topic is gendering things for children. So, what are the childhood things whose constant and or blatant gendering by society are most bothersome to you? So, when I was a child, way back in the 90s, I think I was quite fortunate in that I, especially when I was a young child, we lived in bourgeois Bohemia in the West End of Glasgow, and my parents were kind of wannabe cool progressives, and we certainly had friends who were cool progressives, and so they they were very kind of, you can play with whatever toys you like, you can have dolls if you want, and you can have cars if you want, and war toys are kind of generally, I was never very interested in that, but although I did have a wooden sword and a wooden bow and arrow as well, but no, I didn't have an action man, action figures who were soldiers. Didn't have toy guns or anything, which some of my friends did, but I did have dolls, and I did have Lego. I think some of the toys, okay, this is my point, I'll try to say it in an organised way. I think that the toys that are hyper masculine, like the kind of war toys, sorry, I'm trying to be in good light here, are bad. And that the two hyper feminine ones, like you have a Barbie and so you think you need to look like Barbie, are bad. Not that every child who has a Barbie, because I had a Barbie and I didn't think I needed to look like Barbie, and I have friends who play with toy guns and toy knives and things, and they don't go around shooting people. And I had a toy bow and arrow, and I don't go around sticking arrows in people. But I think that the extremes of these things are they're to be wary of. But the best toys for children are also gender neutral. They're not the best ones because they're gender neutral, but they seem to be kind of gender neutral, which is the ones like Lego and Playmobil. I don't know if you have Playmobil in America, but I think it's a German thing originally, but it's awesome if you don't have it. It's not like Lego where you build the houses, but you have people, and they're slightly bigger than Playmobil people. They're about this big, if that's any kind of reference at all, the people, and you can change their hair and their hats, and they're quite rigidly gendered because the female ones have got eyelashes, so you can't really have that would be interesting to give a child a genderqueer or Playmobil person, and they have houses, and they've got sections of the walls that you can build, and we used to build all these different castles because my friends had a castle set, and it was great. Playmobil was fantastic, and that was the kind of toy that I really liked, and even just games that you went out and played and pretended that you were in a castle or a boat or a spaceship or whatever, and I just loved doing that sort of stuff. Probably older than most children do that until, but I think that was really helpful for me. Just kind of imagination. I created these incredibly complicated games, and I filled up notebooks writing things and drawing things about them, and I dragged my friends into them as well, but speaking to them since, I think they enjoyed it too. So yeah, that's what I think about the toys thing, which was really one of the main things that Chris mentioned. But there are things which I don't think that I... Oh, and there's one more thing I wanted to mention, which is the play Cloud9, which is by the English playwright Carol Churchill. And Cloud9 is a really interesting play because in the first half of the play, it's a Victorian family, and the son is played by a woman, and his mother is played by a man, and in the second half of the play, the second act of the play, is the next generation, and they swap roles. So the woman who was playing the son plays the mother, and the man who's playing the mother plays the son. And then the father, the person who was the father in the Victorian family, the father is now dead in the next act, but the actor who played him plays the little girl, like a 5-year-old girl, which is always really funny. And part of the thing is that in the Victorian family, he is the boy who's played by a woman always wants to be playing with the doll, and in the second act, the girl who's played by a grown man, who often still has the kind of Victorian father moustache, is running around playing with guns. That kind of is I think a wonderful illustration of the absurdity of all these things. And also, I remember what I wanted to say. It was that when I was doing my imaginary games and we got to do dressing up, I always, or not always, but I often, sometimes, liked to... There was a big frilly skirt in the dressing up box at my childminder's house, and I used to wear that a lot. So, parents, if you want your children to grow up genderqueer, I'm not saying that wearing that frilly skirt was what made me genderqueer, but it didn't hurt. That's all I'm saying. But the thing is that I kind of, for some reason, I gravitated towards wearing the big frilly skirt, and I'm sure it's possible that there are binary cis people who would be attracted to things as children that was not belonging to their gender, their assigned gender, and that's all well and good, and that gender is a rich tapestry no matter where on the spectrum you lie, and it's all part of the circle of how do you do. But children, I think, I have a great deal of respect for children, because children are not idiots. Well, some of them are, but most children are not idiots, and they know what it is that they want, and they have a great deal of vision for their own lives, and we tend to think, they're just down there doing something, and it's not really, everything is happening above their heads, but really their inner lives are as real as anybody else's, and they're kind of human beings and agents, and they're not just kind of dumb receptacles for social forces, is what I'm trying to say. So it's good to tell children as much as possible, because I think they can handle it intellectually more than we think they can, is what I'm trying to put across. Okay, good talk. Right, see you next week.